Very good morning, dear children. This is L.K. Tripathi, SST teacher from LPM Public School, Gola Bazar, Gorakhpur. Dear children, we have been discussing about the outcome of democracy, that is the chapter from your civics portion. In this sequence, today we have a new video that is related to the topic economic growth and development. This discussion will enable us to know about the economic growth and the development. So let's discuss it in the better way to understand the concept of this topic. So let's get started. If democracies are expected to produce good governments, then is it not fair to expect that they would also produce development? Evidence shows that in practice, many democracies did not fulfill this expectation. This is very true that if we discuss about the democracies produce good government, so in this sense, is it not fair for us to expect from the democracy to produce development? Definitely, we should expect from the democracy to develop, to produce the development. Many evidences shows that in practice many democracies did not fulfill this expectation. So there is something demerit or lacuna in the democracy which does not perform such types of things. If you consider all democracies and all dictatorships for the 50 years between 1950 and 2000, dictatorships have slightly higher rate of economic growth. The inability of democracy to achieve higher economic development worries us. But this alone cannot be reason to reject democracy. As you have already studied in economics, economic development depends on several factors. Country's population size, global situations, cooperation from other countries, economic priorities adopted by the countries, etc. However, the difference in the rates of economic development between less developed countries with dictatorships and democracies is negligible. Overall, we cannot say that democracy is a guarantee of economic development. But we can expect democracy not to lag behind dictatorships in this respect. When we find such significant difference in the rates of economic growth between countries under dictatorship and democracy, it is better to prefer democracy as it has several other positive outcomes. Now, economic growth and income distribution gains 2000 to 2006. What was the scenario of the economic outcomes of democracy? Let's discuss it. Arguments about democracy tend to be very passionate. This is how it should be, for democracy appeals to some of our deep values. These debates cannot be resolved in a simple manner. But some debates about democracy can and should be resolved by referring to some facts and figures. The debate about the economic outcomes of democracy is one such debate. Over the years, many students of democracy have gathered careful evidence to see what the relationship of democracy with economic growth and economic inequalities is. The tables and the cartoon here present some of the evidences. What is this? Table 1 shows that on an average dictatorial regimes have had a slightly better record of economic growth. But when we compare their record only in poor countries there is virtually no difference. Table 2, we have to study the table. We shall later discuss it. First, read it. Table 2 shows that within democracies, there can be very high degree of inequalities. In democratic countries like South Africa and Brazil, the top 20% people take away more than 60% of the national income, leaving less than 3% of the bottom 20% population. Countries like Denmark and Hungary are much better in this respect. You can see in the cartoon, there is often inequality of opportunities available to the poor section. What would be your verdict on democracy if you had to base it purely on economic performance of democratic regimes in terms of growth and equal distribution? So let us study table first for that. Rates of economic growth for different countries 1950 to 2000. Type of regimes and countries. Let us see it. All democratic regimes growth rate 3.95%. All dictatorial regimes 4.42. Poor countries under dictatorship 4.34. Poor countries under democracy 4.28. Now inequality of economic in selected countries. यहाँ देखते हैं क्या इनइक्वलिटी इकोनॉमी में जो सेलेक्टेड कंट्रीज हैं. टेबल 2. नेम ऑफ द कंट्रीज. साउथ अफ्रीका. परसेंटेज शेयर ऑफ नेशनल इनकम टॉप 20% 64.8. बॉटम 2.9. ब्राज़ील 63.0 2.6. रशिया 53.7 4.4. USA 50.0 4.0. United Kingdom 45%, bottom 6%. Denmark 34.5 9.6. Hungary 34.4 10.0. So this was the inequality of economic in selected country. It differs from democracy to non-democracy. रिडक्शन ऑफ इनइक्वलिटी एंड पॉवर्टी. कैसे रिडक्शन हुआ है इनइक्वलिटी और पॉवर्टी में? परहैप्स मोर देन डेवलपमेंट it is reasonable to expect democracies to reduce economic disparities. Even when a country achieves economic growth, will wealth be distributed in such a way that all citizens of the country will have a share and lead a better life? Is economic growth in democracies accompanied by increased inequalities among the people, or do democracies lead to a just distribution of good and opportunities? Democracies are based on political equality. All individuals have equal weight in electing representatives. Parallel to the process of bringing individuals into the political arena on an equal footing, we find growing economic inequalities. A small number of ultra-rich enjoy high disproportionate share of wealth and incomes. Not only that, their share in the total income of the country has been increasing. Those at the bottom of the society have very little to depend upon. Their incomes have been declining. Sometimes they find it difficult to meet their basic needs of life, such as food, clothing, house, education, and health. In actual life, democracies do not appear to be very successful in reducing economic inequality. As we have seen the table, we have compared between democratic government and the non-democratic government. So we have found that in non-democratic government, the economic ratio is better. In class 9th economics textbook, you have already studied about poverty in India. The poor constitute a large proportion of our voters and no party will like to lose their votes. Yet democratically elected governments do not appear to be as keen to address the question of poverty as you would expect them to. The situation is much worse in some other countries. In Bangladesh, more than half of its population lives in poverty. People in several poor countries are now dependent on the rich countries, even for food supplies. Accommodation of social diversity. Do democracies lead to peaceful and harmonious life among citizens? It will be a fair expectation that democracy should produce a harmonious social life. We have seen in the earlier chapters how democracies accommodate various social divisions. We saw in the first chapter how Belgium has successfully negotiated differences among ethnic populations. Democracies usually develop procedures to conduct their competition. This reduces the possibility of other tensions becoming explosive or violent. No society can fully and permanently resolve conflicts among different groups, but we can certainly learn to respect these differences and we can also evolve mechanisms to negotiate the differences. Democracy is best suited to produce this outcome. Non democratic regimes often turn a blind eye to or suppress internal social differences. Ability to handle social differences, divisions, and conflicts is thus a definite plus point of democratic regimes. But the example of Sri Lanka reminds us that a democracy must fulfill two conditions in order to achieve this outcome. Number one, it is necessary to understand that democracy is not simply ruled by majority opinion. The majority always needs to work with the minority so that governments function to represent the general view. Majority and minority opinions are not permanent. Number three, it is also necessary that rule by majority does not become rule by majority community in terms of religion or race or linguistic group, etc. Rule by majority means that in case of every decision or in case of every election, different persons and groups may and can form a majority. Democracy may remains democracy only as long as every citizen has a chance of being in majority at some points of time. If someone is barred from being in majority on the basis of birth, then the democratic rule ceases to be accommodative for that person or group. Now, the dignity and freedom of the citizens. This point will be discussed in the next video. Till then, we have to understand about the previous discussion, what we have come to learn about. Next, we will see in the coming time. Till then, thank you and goodbye.